Welcome back to Sprague Homestead. So it is one of the worst times of the year for me, and that's cleaning out the barns. So we are going to do something a little different. Normally I just take it out in a wheelbarrow out into the yards and just spread it around. This year we're going to do something a little bit different. So as you can see behind right here, I have the cone spreader on the tractor. So I want to fill this with manure straight out of the pins in here, and we'll let the goat manure go right out to a field and fertilize over winter. So the goal is to fill this up. I'll get Nikki out here to get the tractor going, and then we will go spread this. I'll show you. Can you put pelletized manure from goats or rabbits or anything else in here? Yes. But you don't want to do it with like cow manure or anything else because it'll clog. And you've got to be careful of hair. We've already clogged this once with rabbit manure because it was full of hair. So pelletized manure, hay, or anything else will be excellent. Anything squishy and hairy, don't do it. All right, so what Nikki's gonna do is open the chute here, and this is about 12 5-gallon buckets. So you have about 60 gallons of dried manure. You can see how green it is, so it has some mixed hay in it, just from the goats eating. But to scoop it into a 5-gallon bucket and dump it one by one, probably only took about 10 minutes. And she's flinging poop at me, people. She's flinging poop. So as you can see though, as she's spinning it around, it's just dropping fertilizer out. And it'll shoot it out about 15 feet in a radius, in an arc, about 270 degrees. So she right there is just spreading manure out in the field. This will sit all winter. It'll break down, and this will help feed the grass. Good nitrogen, all natural. Very easy to do. Very good use for all of the animal waste that we have. So obviously, like I said, you can see how dusty it is, how pelletized it's going to come out. And you'll definitely want this to be goat, rabbit, llama, any of those will be fine. A little bit of hay mixed in is fine. You definitely don't want squishy stuff. So dog, cow, anything that's kind of squishy, because it's just going to jam up in there and just become goo. So yesterday's experiment was pretty good. We got the whole thing emptied, but we're starting to run into trouble at the end. Just didn't have a lot of downward weight on it, and the auger in the bottom of it that spins, that helps kind of jog it, I guess you'd help it to flow out, really had trouble with the hay in there. So this morning I've been doing a little bit of CAD, some cardboard aided design. And what I've come up with is basically some auger teeth. Now this one unfortunately is not going to be able to work, and I'll show you why. But this mess actually got me some benefit. So down on the bottom of the auger here, you can see that I have kind of a scraping finger. Now this is riveted on, so it's nice and solid. Now this one here should go on, except I can't actually get the riveter down in here enough to actually get a straight pull on that. So I've got two fingers, and I may come up with a different plan of that. If I can find a screw that will go in there, I'll screw it on. Otherwise, I may just run it with one piece in there. So you can see it's a decent fit. It's not perfect. But you know what? This is going to be an experiment to see if it's actually going to work. It should do a great job at spinning to really kind of scrape the bottom and help push everything out. through the base here. So we'll find out. We're gonna go load this back up and we will see how one scraping finger does compared to yesterday. All right, we are trialing the new one finger that I put on there. So you can see everything is full. I tell you what, it is staying consistent coming out of there. So far so good. Let's see how it gets. Right now it's got a lot of pressure down because it's a full bucket. Where we struggled yesterday was getting about halfway towards the end, and it just really kind of jammed up because it didn't have a lot of gravity pushing down. Well guys, it worked until it didn't. So you can see it snapped my rivets off. So I got greedy with the hay, decided to give it a full-on torture test, and torture won. So it snapped the heads of the rivet off, chucked this out, and then when it didn't work, it didn't work. So it went back to the same thing. So I think if I can get this reattached back on and then maybe put a screen, something on top that will catch the hay from now on, I think we're in business. So I think we'll just probably get a small 1/2x1 screen that Nikki's got laying over there, kind of some scrap pieces. Use that as a filter to keep the hay out, and then put this back on. I think we'd be in business because it worked fantastic until it snapped the heads off. So let's get this back attached. We'll try it again with the screen, see what happens. All right, back for another trial. Now, had a little wrinkle. So Nikki loaded this up with bird manure out of the tool room. And as you can see, we trialed it and it jammed. The rivets held, so the steel rivets are good, but now I have a folded over, a tacoed flipper piece here. So we're gonna load this up with filtered goat manure out of the barn and see how well this does. Knowing that that's kind of tacoed back, I expect a little less on the results, but you know what? Another failure point just means you have more room to fix it with a better opportunity. All right, so we got a little sample trial here. Now this is filtered in with the screen, and you can see a lot of the hay sitting over there that we screened off. So you've got a little bit in there, a little bit of chunks, but hopefully this is gonna prove to be a good spot. Let's get this opened up. Nikki will go over there. Yep. All right, let's see how this does here. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, looks like it's already jammed. Nothing.
Run out here in a second.
Go ahead. Now we're cooking, huh? We bent the flipper back down with some pliers, and look at that. That's like bacon right there. Shake and bake. All right, flipper is bent back down. And we have it loaded about halfway. Now this has been screened again with our little bit of filter, which is just used cage wire that's 1/2x1. But it's doing pretty good. So we'll see how it does. So you can already tell, I can tell just by bending it back down, the rivets were already starting to have a little bit of trouble. So they weren't designed to take on such abuse like that, but that seems to be doing pretty good so far. bent the flipper again. So that's clearly something that needs a little bit stronger piece to not do that. So what do you think of the progress so far in the project?
It's working better. With the chicken or poultry manure, if it's wet at all, it turns concrete. If we're doing rabbit manure, if it's got any hay or straw in it, it's done. And the goat manure seems to have two problems. If it's got hay in it, it doesn't get enough weight anymore. It like turns to so fluffy, it just doesn't come out of the hopper very well. But I think we're making progress. I think if it were mine and not borrowed, I'd cut the holes in the bottom a little bit bigger.
So that's probably going to be the end of this trial at this point. We have tried to make this work, various iterations, and it's just starting to run us out of time. I've got to get the barns cleaned. Sifting the hay is okay. If it was an optimized product, it would probably work fine. But right now, just trying to get everything done is going to be a difficult proposition to get everything. So we'll probably abandon this project for the rest of the year, just get everything done, and then come back next spring as everything's going along and get everything done. So, well, with that,
We know it works.
It just needs some iteration. So the question of, can a cone spreader become a manure spreader for pelletized manure? Yes, but we just don't know what the secret answer is yet.
Yeah, it's getting there.
It's getting there.
We'll keep playing with it.
That's it for this time. We'll see you next time.
Happy homesteading.
All right.